Because I am hard, you will not like me. But the more you hate me, the more you will learn.
Alright guys, so today's video is going to be a very brief, basically, introduction about 9/11. We all have conspiracies, we all have thoughts about how this happened and things like that. So what I want to do is, I've taken images from the impact and I've taken images from the media that they show you, and I want to compare to you how things really are. I want to show you that when the plane actually hits the tower, there's nothing. I mean, and then I'm going to give you footage of Delta Airlines Flight 191 when it fucking took a nosedive into the ground because of wind shear, and yet you can still see plenty of wreckage from the air crash. So let's get into it. Okay, so you just saw security camera footage from the Pentagon. Did you see a plane? No. Now, let's pay attention a little bit closer to the next few images. I'm going to show you a narrow-bodied object. Too small to be a 757 or even a 767. And then what you're going to see is progression of these images, and then the small, narrow-bodied object is going to be gone, and we're going to have a gigantic explosion, yet we have no fucking wreckage. Did you see that? Did you see those three pictures progress? Yet we have no airline wreckage. The missile disappears. The Pentagon explodes. Let's keep watching. Now, as you can see with these three images here, the plane progresses either behind the tower, which as we can tell, it's not possible, or this is CGI. Stands for Computer Graphic Image. They place the plane into the path of the World Trade Center, but hold on, it gets better. Now I want to show you what footage of a real airline crash looks like after it has hit the ground at 600 miles an hour, which is harder than the material at the World Trade Center. That material was built to withstand an impact of a Boeing 707, which by far was much larger than any plane that was ever involved in the September 11th attack. Here we go.
25 DFW biggest moments takes us back to the crash of Delta Flight 191.
Of the thousands of flights that take off and land at DFW every year, each and every one is safer because of Delta Flight 191.
As you know, the accident occurred on August the 2nd, 1985, but it was about 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Denny Kelly investigated the tragedy, the wreckage, the pilots, the more than 152 passengers on board when it went down short of the runway.
But this was the largest airplane accident that I was ever at the scene.
The only survivors, 27 people, escaped from the back section of the plane, the only portion that stayed partially intact after the pilots tried to land in bad weather.
These guys were on approach, they were close to the airport, and they flew into and underneath a thunderstorm, which caused them to crash.
Kelly and investigators from the FAA determined a downdraft from a microburst pushed the plane from the sky on approach at about 150 miles per hour. It touched down in a field headed toward Highway 114, where it hit a car, killed a driver, then burst into flames as it careened into water towers.
They should have gone around, but they were close to the airport. They were anxious to get on the ground, and they kept coming.
Kelly blames the pilots, an experienced crew that saw the storm but decided to go anyway. But the crash changed every flight that came after it, prompting new equipment on the ground at DFW and in the cockpit.
The crash expedited putting the special radars at DFW and other airports, not just DFW, without question.
All right, so as you can see there is plenty of wreckage. It's charred, it's damaged. You can definitely see and tell that something happened. When you look at these pictures previous and the ones coming up, where's the wreckage? There is reports that when a plane hits hot metal like that, it's going to vaporize, but we saw absolutely no debris, no nothing coming out of that tower. That looked like a missile explosion. It's unreal. I mean, there's a lot, like I said, a lot of theories about the buildings being pre-built with the explosives in it. Now, I want to get to what a skyscraper demolition is supposed to look like, and then I'm going to play what it looked like when the tower fell. You tell me if there's any difference.
Unbelievable.
Wow, that's I got goosebumps.
Unbelievable. Whoa.
On the top of that 12-story building, there's stuff.
Did you see any difference? Not really. They all come tumbling down. And with the World Trade Center footage, you see the ground level of it. And it's like bam, 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 bam. That's how they bring down skyscrapers. If that was like an actual accident, that debris would have gone everywhere. I mean, for miles. It came down controlled. What do you think?
Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.